Oh, Judge Jeanine decided to join us. That's good.
Hello.
How are you, Judge?
How am I? How are you? The fight continues for both of us.
I am fantastic, even though the country's going to hell, Judge, I must tell you.
It's going to hell in a handbasket.
It could be. And yet you have this fantastic book out here, Judge, called Crimes Against America, the Left's Takedown of Our Republic. So, yeah, go ahead.
I think no one can appreciate it more than you, Mark, because it's been what you've been talking about for more than a decade that I know of. And I start the book, Crimes Against America, the Left's Takedown of Our Republic, with a quote from Abraham Lincoln from his speech to the Young Men's Lyceum of Springfield in 1838. And he talks about at what point should we expect the approach of danger? Will it be some transatlantic military giant to step the ocean and crush us? Never. At what point is the approach of danger to be expected? If it were ever to reach us, it will spring up among us. It will not come from abroad. If destruction is our lot, we are ourselves as author and finisher, as a nation of free men. We live through all time or we die by suicide. Nobody said it better than Abraham Lincoln. We are literally fulfilling his prediction. And that is that we are dying as a result of what people in this country are doing to the institutions of government, to the culture that we live in, to the beliefs that our founding fathers wrote down in the Declaration of Independence and the laws of the Constitution. Every day, Mark, we see it in the newspapers. As we open our phones and we read the feeds and we listen to the radio and we listen to you and we look for someone with a voice of sanity, because we say to ourselves, I must be crazy. This can't be happening. But it is, Mark. And so I write this book like an indictment. I write it with the outlining the crimes occurring right from the beginning. We are no longer a sovereign nation. We do not have a border. We are literally a globalist landing spot with benefits. And anyone can come here. You don't need an ID. We don't even vet you. We don't fingerprint you. We don't even give you an alien registration number now. Come on in and share in the cornucopia of benefits, education, medication, housing, and we'll give you whatever you need to survive and to live in this country. Mark, this isn't how it's supposed to be, and that's why I wrote the book.
Wow, that's like an opening statement. That is really, that's quite good, because I know it's difficult when you write a book to summarize everything and so forth. It's not so easy. And how long did it take you to do this book? It takes me a long time.
You know, Mark, this is my 8th book. I had 3 New York Times bestsellers. This one was the fastest book I wrote. Why? Because every day there was another indignity that was perpetrated upon America and upon American citizens. Every day. This book is a running commentary on what we're seeing, whether it's COVID and the billions that went to the schools, that every metric was to close the schools and never open it up. You know, whether it was to the cities where crime was running rampant and cities were burning and they told us they were peaceful protests, where we were being gaslit by the left. And Mark, you know this better than I do. Look, I was
I don't know anything better than you do.
No, that's not true. But I was a judge. If someone came to me with an affidavit that was unverified, that I found out was unverified, that I then re-upped twice after I signed it to violate the Fourth Amendment rights of an American citizen, I would have that person's law license. I would make sure they never practice again. And yet these yokels are still practicing in the swamp that we call our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. And no one is embarrassed. We had the Durham report last week. What did we learn? What we learned was what we already knew, and that was that Hillary Clinton was the woman who came up with this whole Russia collusion hoax, and she told Joe Biden and Barack Obama about it. And today she talks about how, Joe Biden might be a little too old. What does that mean, Mark? That means this woman, she's an evil woman. She is running for president. So nobody cares.
First of all, Judge, She's never run. She's waddled for president. There's a big difference, you know. She doesn't run.
Yeah.
By the way, neither do I.
Well, I used to, and I can't anymore because of my knees. But
yes.
the
That's what we all say.
It is what we all say, Mark. You are so right. You got me. But the audacity of this woman to
First of all, I want
that,
people to know what a sweetheart you are. You are. You're tough. Prosecutor, judge. You sit next to Geraldo. That takes work. There you are. But you're sweet. Yeah. Whenever I meet you, you're very nice.
Yeah, of course I'm nice. I'm okay. I'm an animal lover. I even had 2 pigs
me too.
for 15 years. And
wait, you had 2 pigs?
Pigs, yeah, the 4-legged ones.
They don't crap in the house or anything?
No, they have their own pig house outside. But I was a young prosecutor, Mark. I was trying cases. And I remember coming home one night. I was on trial, and I put the kids to bed, and I read them Charlotte's Web. And they said, Mommy, can we have a Wilbur? I said, guys, you can have 2 Wilburs. So, I tell my then husband, we're going to have 2 pigs. He said, you're out of your mind, Jeanine. So I got the 2 pigs, and they lived with me for 15 years. It was great.
Luckily, you didn't read a book about elephants. You'd have elephants. Don't hang up, Jeanine. I want to talk more about your fantastic book. We're talking to Jeanine Pirro. She has a fantastic new book. Just came off the presses just today. Crimes Against America. It's a killer book. The Left's Takedown of Our Republic. Now, you can go to Amazon.com, or if you like, you can go to JudgeJBook.com. JudgeJBook.com. We'll have that link as well on all of our social sites. Amazon.com or JudgeJBook.com. The book is Crimes Against America. So, Judge Jeanine, who's behind this? These crimes against America? Is it a philosophy? Is it a party? What is it?
That's a great question, and the only thing that I can say is that there's a lot of money behind the takedown of America because that money is being invested in the campaigns of fake prosecutors running for DA, in the campaigns of school board members who are also running for the school board, who have a different ideology, separate from the Constitution, separate from the Declaration of Independence. And, the only thing that I can imagine is there are a bunch of leftists, socialists who've been indoctrinated in school. And but for COVID, but for that particular pandemic, parents would never have known what our kids were being taught in school. Mm-hmm. And that's why we've got so many heads of corporations who are now willing. So, for example, Black Lives Matter, not the movement, but the organization. There were millions of dollars that were wasted on mansions in California and money given to everyone other than the kids in the inner cities who needed it in the name of George Floyd. But, the corporations didn't want the money back. Why? Because these corporate execs were indoctrinated to think that, Marxism, socialism, that really is the way to work. And that's why the education department, and that's why young people believe that socialism is acceptable. But this whole takedown is something, if you'll recall, Mark, and I know you do, Barack Obama was a big student of Marx, of Karl Marx. And he talked about transforming America. And that's what he did. The hatred of police started during his 4 terms. The whole idea that he would not only transform America, but that he would have people, speak in terms that were maybe not acceptable in his belief of what was politically correct, which was the first example of their chipping away at the First Amendment. If you didn't say it the way they wanted it, then you would be a racist or a xenophobe. You would be canceled. You would lose your job. And it just continued from there. It's just people who are believers and ideologues. What do they get from it? I don't know. What do we get from 5 million Americans entering this country that don't swear allegiance to this country? 10 million who will enter in the next 2 years after of the Biden administration. And what do we get from the fact that Joe Biden is so easy on China? I mean, we're buying lithium batteries from China now while they build coal plants, and we shut down our coal plants. We shut down fossil fuels and our independence so we can be dependent upon our enemies, upon people like Venezuela. I mean, there's no rhyme or reason to it unless you believe in that indoctrination.
This is a terrific book, America. Crimes Against America, The Left's Takedown of Our Republic. That is a great title because it says it all right there. By our friend Jeanine Pirro. By the way, what's it like working on the five? Do you ever say to yourself, I'd rather there were four of us. That one guy over there, or the one guy, I'd rather be the four. Is it pretty good?
Yeah, well, you know what? Here's the thing. This show is watched by a lot of Democrats, and it is the number one show on all news cable.
Yes.
And the only show that beat it last year was Yellowstone, which I absolutely love. And I think that people like to hear an intelligent conversation with people who know what they're talking about, and they want to hear both sides. And, the person on the left, whether it's Geraldo or Jessica or Harold, we'll fight to the T, but then when we go to break, we really do like each other as long as we don't talk about politics. But, I think the guy...
Wait a minute. During the break, you don't ever get angry with each other? Like, why did you say that?
Yeah, there are some times when we'll be furious, but then we realize that we're on to the next subject and we've got to take a deep breath and move on. How do we do that? I don't know. Maybe Jessica shows me a picture of her baby and I'll show her a picture of my grandson, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, there are some times when you see the tension there, but it is a fun show. People like it. And I like doing my own show too. I mean, Justice with Judge Jeanine was great.
It's a big hit.
Yeah, it was the number one show for about 10, 11 years, weekends. I mean, we had big numbers. But, for everything there is a season. And I just think, and I want to get one thing
I think I heard that once.
I think there was a song.
By the way, am I deeply disliked there? Be honest. Yes or no? No. Nobody who dislikes you would dare say it to me, so I don't hear it at all. I don't because it doesn't come up. I was just curious. Yes.
Look, the people here, we try very much, to enjoy the fact that we're all employed and we're all working.
Yes.
And I spend my time fighting the fight where it matters. Joe Biden, the man is in decline. He's running an organized criminal enterprise. Joe Biden is the front man. His son Hunter's the bag man. Joe Biden goes in the front door wrapped in the American flag and all the pride and glory that goes with it. And his son's at the back door collecting wads of cash in Europe. Mm-hmm. And the fact that the Department of Justice has not figured out what to do with him in 6 years almost, and we've got whistleblowers. One just came out again yesterday. But they're able to indict George Santos on 13 counts in a minute and a half. Mm-hmm. It is disappointing. And so I fight for justice. I fight for the fact that the American criminal justice system is being destroyed by these people. I believe in law and order, and so do you. I believe in truth and justice, and so do you. So do most Americans who follow the law. These bozos on the left are destroying this country. They're trying to take it down. And, just this past weekend, I had a 1 hour special on Danny Penny, who was the Marine, 24 years old, a sergeant in the Marines. He's in college. He's studying architecture. He didn't want to get in trouble, but they want to charge him with manslaughter. Are you kidding me? Everyone on that subway car said this is a guy who was a hero. So we've got to get back to basics in this country, and that's what's worth fighting for, to me.
Well, the book is great. It's Crimes Against America, The Left's Takedown of Our Republic. You can grab it at Amazon.com or JudgeJBook.com, JudgeJBook.com. And let me ask you this, though. When you show up for the five, you have a lot of research to do and all the rest of this sort of stuff to do. Isn't that correct?
Oh, yeah. There's loads of reading.
You don't just show up.
Oh, no. No, I will read for a good 3 hours before the show. Absolutely. I would never go on that show without being prepared. So what I do is, I make sure I know what my arguments are, what the left's argument's going to be. And then what happens, Mark, is sometimes if you get called on last, everyone took your argument, and then you got to come up with something really creative. But, there's no fake emotion. I mean, we're passionate about what we believe in. And I am, and I always will be, and I will never back down. This country is too important. The fact is that the left could care less about the Declaration of Independence. All they want to do is take down the statues, take down our history, and my job is to make sure, like my father did as a veteran in World War II, and my grandfather, a veteran in World War II, was to make sure that this country and its ideals are protected. And that's why you can get my book at judgejbook.com.
Well, one other question. No, that's good. One other question, though, and that's this. This, and you've been in law enforcement most of your career, this relentless assault on Donald Trump at every level of government, in different cities, and so forth. I mean, this is really 100 years from now, they're going to say this is reprehensible, what was done here, and so forth and so on. And they're doing it now to try and make sure he can't win, aren't they?
Right. I don't think there's any question. Look, you've got Letitia James, who ran for office. Mark, you know as well as I do, if you or I ran for office and said that our mission was to take down a civilian whose name you identified and whose crime you couldn't identify.
You'd lose your law license.
You would lose your law license, and you would be brought before the Ethics and Grievance Committee in a minute and a half. And that they could do this, and then that she could go after the family, the corporations, millions of documents handed over. Look, here's the bottom line here. This man was the president and improved virtually every metric in this country, whether it's the number of African Americans being working, or women, or Asians, and animal instincts and animal spirits in terms of the economy. People felt great about America. It was America first. We got this bozo in the White House right now who can't even stumble his way in or out of a press conference. I've seen the man fall on his way up the stairs, forget down the stairs. And in the end, what they're trying to tell us is that there's something wrong with Donald Trump. I don't think so. I think that what they did to Donald Trump every day from his inauguration on, and the fact that he was able to do what he did is very telling about who he is and whether or not he is a man strong enough to withstand what they threw at him, and they will never stop. And they're haters. You know, the Democrats, we're all inclusive. We love everybody. Hogwash. You're haters. You hate anybody who doesn't talk like you do, who doesn't think like you do. You want to ostracize us. You were the Democrats who started the Hillary Clinton hoax nonsense where families were at each other's throats. America was in half because of what this witch decided she was going to talk about and create on a Russia collusion delusion. And that's what the Durham report said. And yet the Democrats said, no, we're the party of inclusion. No, you're not. The party of inclusion is the party that follows the law, that recognizes that everyone is equal under the law, that goes and fights for equality, not equity, but equality of opportunity, so everyone can run. And it infuriates me that when Tim Scott announces he's running, the left tries to take him down because, he's just the exception. Don't feel good about him.
Unbelievable.
You know what? I feel great about him. He has a past that is rooted in slavery. God bless him.
Very well said, Judge Jeanine. You should be on TV. I really believe this very strongly.
Thank you.
Well, it's a great book, Crimes Against America, The Left's Takedown of Our Republic. You can get it at judgejbook.com, judgejbook.com, or amazon.com. And you take care of yourself, my friend. Hopefully I'll see you one of these years.
You know what? I listen to you, Mark. You keep up the fight. I'll keep up the fight. And you never know. I think we may win.
We may win, but probably not in our
Bye-bye.
lifetime. God bless you. Be well. And by the way, she's great. Very, very nice lady. I want you to check this book out, though. Crimes Against America, The Left's Takedown of Our Republic. She knows how to write. She knows how to think. That's for sure.